All right, this is the June 15th 6 scalability public recording. Begin. All right, now I think that we'll get going on something while we see if we pick up a few folks. But I think the question was whether we should. The good question was whether we should alter our SLO targets, our official ones. Since the documentation automatically set the test case, I would say.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find the actual issue that uncovered this.
There's a couple other ones too that I wanted to get input on from the guys in Poland. There's been a couple of large scale test failures, and there's no, reading the GitHub issues, I'm not entirely certain what's going on.
What's the latest on the etcd3 job? I haven't had a chance to look this morning, but I'm getting the impression that somebody bumped the timeout for that test. Timeout on solutions.
I don't know. I saw there was a couple of flailings that originally occurred, and I still see it on a number of PRs. And I don't think it has anything to do with etcd3. It has to do with like some other change that went in related to API, either compression or something else going on. So I'm mildly confused, like what the root cause is, because I haven't been tracing it. I know Jordan's been, taking stabs at different potential patches, but I haven't seen like what the root cause of things are yet.
Okay, I'm maybe like a day behind. I saw Yuzhong and Mike Denise put theories that sounded like too many concurrent namespace deletions would end up tripping past a 30-second threshold for some control loop or something, and it sort of cascaded. And thundering herd's the wrong term here, but it was a compounding effect where everything would kind of retry, and namespace deletion timeouts could happen a lot more quickly. But I would prefer to actually go read the issues and stop making stuff up.
Yeah, there's a broader problem that also exists inside of how namespace deletion works. And I've tried to touch at the root of that problem, but I think someone would have to dig into it and actually fix it. And I think it'd be possible to fix in an etcd3 type of world, but I don't know who's got bandwidth to go and fix it. Namespace deletions have this weird recursive problem where it's like you need to go down to the bottom of the tree and bubble your way back up. And that only existed because of etcd2. It's not necessarily a constraint on etcd3. In fact, we could probably fix it if somebody were to go in and dig out the details.
I'm sorry, I was busy typing. I missed what you said. Sure.
Recursive namespace deletion is tricky.
Yeah.
It's only tricky because of how we do it internally, and it's throwback to etcd2 timeframe.
Actually, your mention of etcd kicked something loose. Is etcd3 like the default now? At what point does etcd2 stop being supported?
I think after this release cycle, we can officially drop support. We have to, I don't know, as part of our testing infrastructure. I don't know if we want to do that. I think we might, just because it reduces our test complexity. But I don't, I'm sure some people who want to maintain legacy support, like Justin, would want to hold on to it for an indefinite period of time.
I don't know, it seems like a deprecate after 2 releases kind of thing to me.
I would agree. I would prefer to deprecate it.
Good question in our new governance world, who it is that would own that decision? Yeah.
I don't know who would decide the deprecation policy for, I think maybe cluster lifecycle, because they would own the stack, but they don't really own all of the stacks, right? Like, I think other people would have say, or would want to have say in it.
I've also seen, I've triaged a couple SED related issues over the cluster lifecycle and seen them kicked over to API machinery. So I'm not sure who exactly wants to own the hot potato.
How long do we release patch versions for old minor versions of Kubernetes?
I'm so glad you asked. Our versioning policy seems to be 2 minor releases back. So right now, this comes up a lot in the context of automated upgrade testing for Kubernetes. What automated upgrades do you need to support? We're talking about releasing 1.7. There is no effort to test upgrading from 1.4 to 1.7. There is effort to test upgrading from 1.5 to 1.7. So it seems like once 1.7 comes out, we officially support 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 next 3 releases. So then if we look at etcd, the question is, which release was etcd3 introduced? Which release was etcd3 considered the default/stable feature? And then from there, we can count forward and say when we can deprecate it or drop it off, right? That makes sense?
Yeah, it was originally introduced in, as a knob enable on in probably 1.4 or 1.5 timeframe. It was defaulted to 1.6.
Yeah, but I start to get a little, just personally, I get a little cranky when things are introduced as a knob in alpha, and then there's no real clear delineation when they are considered stable and when a deprecation notice is officially broadcast for an older feature. So this was like less of a big deal for the Docker shim thing for Kubla, right? But native Docker integration between Kubla and Docker is going away this week, even though
We do not have I would say I'd say release would have to own the deprecation policy, right? And with buy-in from cluster lifecycle, right?
Yeah. Something. Great discussion to have with the steering committee if it gets kicked up that far.
Yeah, but there's other issues flowing in that are not necessarily etcd problems, and they have to do with like weird how we're using it and how we're storing and doing things. So like there's an events one that's a problem with TTL issues, and then there's the namespace deletion one, which is weird, and that has nothing to do with etcd, right? That has to do with how we're storing data and how long it takes to delete it in this weird recursive fashion.
Yep.
All right. Do we have other topics?
I think that was the only one.
I would like to have someone follow on to figure out what's going on with some of the SLO tests and why they're being shuffled around, if somebody wants to take that as an action item. Because to be honest, I'm a little concerned with some of the, we're changing defaults and we're also punting some other things out so we pass the test, but there's no explanation of what's going on.
I mean, it sounded like the idea was our measurement was incorrect. And so now that we're actually measuring correctly, it turns out we've been failing for a while. So I'm
Yes.
talking specifically to, we just bumped up the threshold just for lists, not for anything else. Are you talking about other shufflings or?
There's other failings that are going on in the tests and people are making patches, but I drink from the fire hose that is the GitHub, notifications. So I can't look at everything. So that's part of the reason why I go to these meetings, is to get like the TLDR of, what are some of the highlights of, the fire hose, so I don't have to drink from it.
Understood. I don't know, I guess maybe a request for me might be, if you notice these things, if you see something, say something. maybe like post these in the 6 scale Slack channel, which I personally haven't had time to read through the scroll back, but because the list one's the only one I've caught through the same fire hose. Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, I'll just poke Merrick and stuff on that then.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw your poke in Slack. Also, Sean might be able to help. He seems to be increasingly involved. So, all right. Well, before we wrap today, we had a couple of folks. I'm not sure whether they've attended or not. Like to have folks who attend introduce themselves and say hi and what they're interested in and where they work and all of that. So I'm calling on the lurkers to say hi. Gay Rivera. I'm not sure how you say that. Here to say hi. Good morning, wherever you are. Oh, all right. Well, we'll say a chat hi then. There you are. That's a brilliantly executed excuse for not saying anything on a call. Well played, sir. Well played. Can you type in where you work? All right. Renaissance? Say hi. Yeah, exactly. That one's been used. You have to pick a fresh one. Say hi. Good morning.
He's saying, talking to you, Ravi.
Oh, to me? Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. I work at Red Hat. So I primarily work on performance and scale issues.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great to have the Red Hat folks attending.
Thank you.
Oh, HPE for now. Very good. Yeah. Aaron and I were both at HP at one time. So here in Seattle, we were in the Seattle office. May it rest in peace. I think the HP Seattle office is completely gone now. So. All right. Okay. Well, I think we'll call it a wrap for today. I think I will. I think I'm going to actually put a comment. Let's see if it's closed. I got to figure out how to track down the list threshold thing and try to see if there's a little bit more context here. It sounds like you're going to do the same, Tim, with the Google Poland folks. So, all right, very good. See you at the community meeting, everyone.
See ya.